Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CTE Companion. Today, we will be doing the UFC fighters with CTE tier list. This was requested by one of the subscribers, Big Stompers, 6 years ago. 343 asked for this one. If you want to see anything, comment down below. I will do my best to accommodate, and thank you for the idea. Please like and subscribe. We're up to 6 subscribers, trying to get 10 by the end of April. Hopefully get 10 by the end of March, but the goal is to have it by the end of April. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off with the A tier, we have Cowboy Cerrone. He's been finished 8 times in the UFC with losses to the likes of Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson, and Conor McGregor. He absorbs 4.48 significant strikes per minute and has had over 50 fights. He's been through some absolute wars. I can think of his face at the end of the Tony Ferguson fight. That was a doctor stoppage because his face was cut up so bad. He's been finished bad a few times, had a lot of absolute bangers and a lot of great fights. Absolute legend of the game, but has taken a lot of damage to the head. Following that up, we have George St. Pierre, who I'm going to put into the F tier. He is a top 5 all-time and lowest significant strikes absorbed per minute with 1.4 significant strikes absorbed per minute. He's only been finished one time, and in that fight, he tapped. He didn't get sparked. He didn't get finished. It was strikes on the ground, and he ended up tapping out, saving himself for another day. I know he says he's been abducted by aliens, but I don't think that if that is CTE, I don't know if that's from fighting. He only had about 24 fights, I believe. 22-2 is his record. So yeah, 24 professional fights. Not the most damage. Spent a lot of control time. Had a lot of had good defense. Didn't take a lot of damage. Obviously, in the fights like the Johnny Hendricks one, he got hit quite a bit, but overall, pretty safe career. Following that up with Joshua Van, I'm going to put him in the C tier. He definitely has the potential and is on pace to be an A tier candidate or an S tier candidate. He is 6.39 strikes absorbed per minute. Not 3 is, but he absorbs 6.39 significant strikes per minute, but he is a flyweight, so he's not taking the biggest shots. He's not been finished too many times. He is on path to be going through some wars. He did get finished by Charles Johnson, but another thing he has going in his favor that keeps him low is that he is only 24 or 25 and is already champion, so hopefully he's not in the game too much longer taking damage like this. If he does, though, if he's one of those guys who goes to 35, 40, I could see it getting pretty bad for him. He does get hit a lot and does need to tighten up that defense. Next up, we have our first S-tier candidate, Alistair Overeem. He has been finished over 15 times in MMA alone, not to mention his kickboxing career, not to mention any boxing fights. The one thing I will say for him, though, is that he doesn't actually get hit quite that much. 2.44 strikes absorbed significant strikes absorbed per minute in the UFC. But he's been finished towards the end of his career by Rosenstrike, by Curtis Blades, by Francis Ngannou, of course, that uppercut from hell. But he was also being finished in the early 2000s in Japan. In kickboxing, he's been knocked out a few times. So this is a guy, a CTE legend, just someone who has taken so much damage throughout his career. And I just want to say that this video, if you can't tell, it's trying to be lighthearted. I'm not really looking at people who really have CTE. I'm not going to be talking about, the Muhammad Ali's. Well, I mean, this is all UFC fighters, but the BJ Penns, let's say. I just want to keep this light. I just want to have some fun with it. I don't want it to be that serious. This is all in good fun. But Alistair Overeem is someone who has been finished quite a lot. And up next in the D tier, we have Wonderboy Thompson. 3 significant strikes absorbed per minute, a lot higher than I expected, probably from like the Kevin Holland fights, maybe the Joaquin Buckley fight. I know he was doing well in that before he was finished. He has been finished twice in his career, which is kind of what keeps him out of the F tier. The fact that he was hit a little bit more and has been finished twice. Everyone in the F tier has been finished at most once. Wonderboy finished by Buckley and what was it, Pettis earlier in his career? It was Pettis, yes, with the Superman punch off the cage. Yeah, but a guy who I expected to be not hit as much as he was, to be honest. There were a few surprises in this one, and that was one of them. One that's no surprise to see on this list, though, is Chris Moutinho. I'm going to put him at the A tier, mostly because he's only had 4 fights in the UFC. He is the person with the most significant strikes absorbed per minute on this list with 9.36. Just an absolutely astronomical number. Finished in 2 of his 4 or 3 of his no, 3 of his 4 UFC fights, 0-4 in the UFC, standing TKO'd by Sean O'Malley, flatlined bad by Malcolm Wellmaker, and finished by Yiaido Kennedy. Yeah, he was just a walking punching bag in the Sean O'Malley fight, and his defense has not really improved. He left the UFC, got a 5-fight win streak on the regional scene, came back and got slept again. So he is pretty young. I think he's 28 or 29 and does do pretty good outside of the UFC. So that's why I have him in the A tier. He doesn't have the UFC minimum 5 fights to make any of the records, but yeah, we'll just keep him at the A tier because he hasn't had that many fights. Speaking of someone who has had a lot of fights, though, in the B tier, we have the Korean Zombie, obviously Chan Sung Jung, known for his durability. He gets the name the Korean Zombie from how well he can handle punishment. Been knocked out 5 times, has had some great fights. Obviously, the highlight reel knockouts by Max Holloway and Yair Rodriguez automatically come to mind. That Yair Rodriguez fight was a 5-round war that Max Holloway won the retirement fight, getting finished. A guy who's known for his durability. The chin kind of went at the end there. Not much really else to say. Great fighter, absolute legend of the game. Really loved his career. Glad he's retired and hope he's healthy. Following that up, we have our second F tier candidate, Khabib Nurmagomedov. He is the only champion to never be cut. He absorbed 1.75 significant strikes per minute, spent most of his career in a dominant position, not really getting hit too much. A lot of control time, a lot of wrestling. Similar to GSP, where it's a lot of control time. His striking defense and his striking offense nowhere near the level of GSP, but that doesn't matter when you're as dominant as Khabib. Have to have him in F tier because he is the only person to win a championship without bleeding, which is absolutely insane in mixed martial arts. Another one of the top 5, top 10 greatest fighters of all time. And yeah, this guy, I expected him to actually be a lot higher on this list, but he is the lowest strikes absorbed per minute of anyone C tier and above. Nate Diaz, I'm sure I will get a lot of people calling me an idiot for this one. I don't know what it is. I picture him bleeding in these fights, taking a lot of damage, but when you really look at the numbers, he doesn't get hit that much. I'm sure that the fights like the Tony Ferguson, the Leon Edwards ones, who are guys. I mean, Tony Ferguson, I'm not going to call him a low output guy, but Tony Ferguson towards the end of his career, Leon Edwards, a low output guy, that probably brings these numbers down, but he's also only been finished 1 time. Hell of a chin. I know he doesn't sound the smartest. He might sound like he has CTE, but just looking at the stats and look at the fact that he's never been finished and the fact that it's under 40 fights, I'm going to put Nate Diaz in the C tier. And someone else who I expected to be higher but wasn't is Bryce Mitchell. I'm going to put him in the D tier. I know he got flatlined so bad he was having a seizure. I know he thinks the earth is flat. I know he thinks some other things that will not be mentioned, but he's actually been submitted quite a few times. A lot of his losses that are finishes are by submission. He only gets hit with 1.2 or 1.6 significant strikes per minute. So that's on the bottom end of this, under 2 significant strikes per minute. I expect him to be higher. I didn't actually think it would be that good. I guess it's because it's one of those guys who has a primarily grappling-based approach. But yeah, we have Bryce Mitchell in the D tier. Following that up, another guy in the A tier, Dan Hooker. excuse me, guy who's been through some absolute wars. We think of the empty apex ones with Dustin Poirier, absolute banger with Paul Felder, the finish to the body by Edson Barbosa, just some absolute wars. Uh, in his most recent fight, he was finished by ground and pound by Benoit Saint Denis. He gets hit with 4.94 significant strikes absorbed per minute. That's an absolutely absurd number. It's a little bit hard to do this one because they don't really keep track of the bottom end stats. It's very easy to find the guys who are not hit very much, but you kind of have to go individual by individual to find significant strikes absorbed per minute. Um, and this is a combination of the eye test, what I think, what the stats think. I looked around a little bit to see what other people were saying, whether my opinions kind of held up. I found a Sherdog post with some fighters and their strikes absorbed per minute. I would credit the guy, but his name I can't say on YouTube. I will get in trouble for it, so I'm not gonna give him a shout out. But yeah, I found a post. He was in the top 5 that this guy found. He didn't go through all the fighters, but Dan Hooker was up there. And speaking of people who are not up there, Movsar Evloev is gonna be in the D tier. 2.8 strikes absorbed, kind of a little bit higher than I expected, but he does actually have some good boxing and good defensive boxing. Shoots a lot. He shoots once every 3 minutes. It was 5 attempts per 15 on his takedown attempts, so grappling heavy fights, good boxing defense. That's a guy who's not going to get hit a lot, and so he's going into the D tier. In the B tier, we have Dustin Poirier. Dustin absorbs 4.57 significant strikes per minute, which is on the lower end of that upper tier guy. He has never had a boring fight, been in wars, as I talked about earlier, with Dan Hooker. He got finished by a head kick by Justin Gaethje. He got finished by Conor McGregor, but those are his only 2 finished losses, I believe, off the top of my head. He's had some great fights at featherweight and at lightweight. The fight with Max Holloway really shows was a great encapsulation of his career and his fighting style. Love Dustin Poirier. Hope he has a great retirement. In the S tier, we have Justin Gaethje. This guy, speaking of wars, you can't talk about CTE and wars without talking about Justin Gaethje. 7.05 strikes absorbed per minute. Flatlined by Max Holloway at UFC 300. TKO'd by Dustin Poirier. TKO'd by Eddie Alvarez. Dropped numerous times. Dropped by Charles Oliveira. And it's only going to get worse because he's fighting Ilia Topuria next. That tweet that Ilya sent to Justin Gaethje is absolutely terrifying. I am worried for him. I think he should call it a career if what I think happens in that Topuria fight. Shout out Justin Gaethje. Absolute car crashes earlier in his career. Kind of mellowed out a little bit now, but it's still 7 strikes per minute absorbed. In the F tier, we have Michael Venom Page. 1.51 significant strikes absorbed per minute in the UFC. Only been finished once. And very point fight heavy. Primarily a striker and still doesn't get hit very much. Just used a lot of feints, uses his movement. Is very safe. Is one of those guys that just doesn't get hit on the feet. And is okay with that. His fights are usually 7 strikes to 4 strikes landed per round. So not taking a lot of damage. Kind of probably why he has the longevity he's had. Still going hard at 39 years old. Good for him. And in the S tier, our CTE GOAT, Max Holloway. The most ever significant strikes absorbed with nearly 24 or over 2,400. Nearly 4,000 total strikes absorbed. Top 5 in strikes absorbed per minute with 4.61, which is pretty low, but I think because he doesn't get a lot of finishes, he has a lot of octagon time and has been landed on quite a lot. He invented the point down in the middle and stand and bang. I said bangers with Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Alexander Volkanovski. Yair Rodriguez was piecing him up so bad that he turned Max into a wrestler. And yeah, that's it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have anyone I missed. I know I didn't add guys like Tony Ferguson, BJ Penn, I mentioned earlier. But there's only so many guys you can mention, and these were the ones that I was thinking of first. So if you have any F tier candidates, S tier candidates, anyone that can go in the B or the C tier, let me know. Comment down below. And also, as I said earlier, this video was a request. So if you have any requests for other videos, let me know down in the comments. And like and subscribe, and have a great day.